I remember the hospital hallway more clearly than the surgery itself. The lighting was too bright for grief. It made everything look procedural, clean, manageable. The estimate sat in my hands, 85,000. It didn't feel like money. It felt like a countdown. My son was 6. He kept asking when we could go home. I called my parents because I believed that was what family was for. Not daily favors, not comfort speeches, just crisis. My father listened quietly. My mother spoke. We can't step in every time something goes wrong. She said, gentle but firm. You chose to have a child. We taught you to be responsible. I explained it wasn't something going wrong. It was surgery. Urgent. Necessarily covered partially by insurance, but not enough. There was a pause. Then my father cleared his throat. We helped with your sister's wedding because that was planned. This is different. Different. That was the word that stayed with me. My sister's wedding had been 3 months earlier, destination venue. Imported flowers, custom design dress, a live band. They told everyone it cost around $230,000. They said it proudly, like it was proof of something. At the time, I'd been happy for her. I truly had. Love should be celebrated. But now I understood something I hadn't before. Joy was an investment. Crisis was a liability. They didn't say no cruelly. They said no professionally, as if declining a business proposal. We need to be fair to both our children. My mother added, we can't drain retirement funds. Fair. I hung up and stared at the wall for a long time before going back into my son's room. I sold the house within 2 weeks, cashed out my retirement, took high-interest loans I knew would follow me for years. I worked nights after the surgery, drove deliveries, consulted part-time, did whatever came. The surgery worked. He lived. That should have been enough to erase everything else. In many ways, it was. But survival rearranges you. It doesn't restore what was there before. My marriage bent under the pressure, not because we didn't love each other, but because exhaustion doesn't negotiate kindly. We survived too, but differently. My parents sent birthday cards, polite texts, invitations I stopped accepting. They never mentioned the hospital. Years passed. Debt shrank slowly. I built something small out of what I'd learned navigating medical billing and emergency logistics. A company that helped families understand what I hadn't known when I stood in that hallway. It grew. Not dramatically, just steadily. And with it, something in me stabilized. I stopped waiting for them to acknowledge what happened. I stopped replaying the phone cold. I stopped needing them to say they were wrong. That was the first real shift. The second came on a Tuesday afternoon. My assistant said, your parents are here. I almost laughed. They had never visited my office. They sat across from me in chairs designed to make clients feel contained. My father looked smaller. My mother still carried herself like she was evaluating a purchase. They didn't ask about my son. They talked about my sister. Her husband had overextended himself, leveraged assets. The wedding had been partially financed in ways I hadn't known. Investments had failed. There were creditors, lawsuits. Their retirement fund had been tied into it. They needed liquidity fast. They didn't use the word loan at first. They used words like bridge and temporary. I listened. It was strange how calm I felt. No spike of anger. No rush of satisfaction, just clarity. My father finally said, you're in a position now where family. The word landed differently this time. I slid a document across the table. Standard terms, market interest, secured against property, clear repayment structure, no emotional clauses. My mother frowned. You'd charge us interest. Yes, I said. Silence settled. Thick and unmistakable. For the first time in my life, I wasn't asking for approval. I wasn't explaining myself. I wasn't waiting to be told whether I was being reasonable. I was simply setting terms. My father's jaw tightened. We're your parents. I know. You treat us like strangers. No, I said carefully. I'm treating you like adults. That was the moment. Not loud, not dramatic, but irreversible. They didn't sign. 3 days later, they showed up at my house instead. No appointment, no paperwork. My son opened the door and called for me. They stood there, looking older than they had in my office, less composed. My mother held her purse with both hands. We don't want contracts between us, she said. "We just need help." There it was, the old gravitational pull, the instinct to complain, to prove I wasn't cold, to prove I was better. I thought about the hallway, the estimate, the word different. "I learned independence from you," I said. My father's expression shifted, hurt, maybe, or recognition. "I'm not refusing to help," I continued. "I'm refusing to pretend it's unconditional." They didn't argue. For a second, I wondered if this was the beginning of something else, a conversation long overdue. But my mother looked past me into the house as if assessing value. And I understood. Love had always been structured like a transaction in our family. Visible returns mattered. Quiet sacrifices did not. I didn't want revenge. I didn't want them to suffer. I just didn't want to participate in that system anymore. "I hope you find a solution," I said. Then I closed the door, not hard, not angry, just firmly inside. My son asked who it was. "Grandma and Grandpa," I said. "Are they staying for dinner?" "No." He nodded and went back to his homework. And for the first time in years, the house felt entirely mine.